G'day Aussie Gridiron fans, welcome to the Gday Gridiron podcast, brought to you as always by the Aussie Gridiron Network. This is going to be the first of two shows this week. We're back with two shows, not every week, but just this week for now. We are going to go through some news because there's been obviously the Combine, the official 2026 Underwear Olympics are underway, have been run, and there's times and numbers and all kinds of interesting stuff out of that. There's been some trades in the NFL already, well before the free agency start has really kicked off, which is, I think, is still even a week away. So we've had some trades, and we've got all this news about guys that are potentially getting released once the league year gets underway, which I think is actually shortly, next week. So we're going to have a chat about it, and then, go from there. How you going, boys? All four of us in the house. This is 3 shows in a row, boys. I'm getting a bit nervous about the fact that all of us are in the one room. 3 shows in a row.
Come on, man.
No. Hey, I still turn up when I'm sick. I just let you guys do the talking.
Going good. Can't wait to get into some NFL talk, and looking forward to it.
How good is NFL talk?
I actually missed the games. Like, this is probably the first week where I was like, I could really watch a football game right now, and just didn't have it. So yeah, I'm. It's pretty sad, but yeah, I'm missing it.
3 weeks well overdue, Brad.
Yeah, right.
It was the first Monday after the Super Bowl. It should have been like that for everyone, surely.
We could even watch a Cowboys game, I reckon.
Damn straight.
I'll chop off my pinky right now to watch Jets Browns right now.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, 2 months ago, no one wanted to watch it at all. I couldn't get any ears to even preview it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, because we're greedy. We're very greedy.
That's
now
right.
we've got nothing.
Yeah.
You know?
Maybe this is the period
Don't know what you
where we
have till
need
it's
to be.
gone.
Yeah, all that talk about making the 2 worst teams in the NFL face off and the winner gets the first overall pick. Maybe that needs to happen in this limbo period. This is the week. Make them train for an extra month just to win the first overall pick.
You know how
They should
epic
have it
that
a week
would be?
before the draft. A week before the draft.
Yeah, maybe it needs, instead of the Hall of Fame game, fuck that thing off. Let's go.
Yeah, right. That would be excellent.
I would love
Well, Brad was so hard up for football this week that he has compiled the spreadsheet to end all spreadsheets for us on the official/unofficial/secret NFLPA team rankings that are done by the players. Brad's searched the internet. He's gone deep into dark holes. He's gone on
deep into the Epstein files.
deep into the Epstein files.
No.
Took a left turn and went on in the wrong place.
No.
Release the GV files.
He took a short trip to the wilderness and a darkness retreat with Aaron Rodgers, who apparently is going on another one this year. Good Lord, help us all. He's compiled data from everywhere about this NFLPA player rankings. So there's a little bit of that to talk about tonight too. Jesus, Brad's like all this time on his hand with no football.
Yeah,
What's Brad going to do? He's not going to catch up on football news. He's going to just compile data.
Yeah, I can't research what bets I want to make and all that kind of stuff. So might as well just research some data.
Yeah, you'll scoff at me when I say we should talk about NRL, and then this happens.
Fair point.
The Underwear Olympics. I mentioned the Combine. The Combine is underway right now, and there's some interesting stuff coming out of there with numbers and just different looks at some of the guys that'll be up for draft positions and could be high up in the drafts. Guys that have just absolutely astronomically improved their draft stocks over the last couple of days, where guys like Sonny Styles, linebacker Sonny Styles, who was firmly in that kind of top 15 to like 10 to 15 range, went out there and put out some ridiculous numbers and has absolutely wedged himself within the top 5 now for sure. Get a lot of these numbers. I know Brad will sort of understand American freedom units better than the rest of us. Sonny Styles is a linebacker, 6'5", 244 pounds. Brad, can you do a quick conversion for us?
No, I can't do the conversion, but it's
Brad, you're a maths teacher.
Well, it's oh, man, no, I can't. What is that? That's got to be like 190 some centimeters or something like that.
There's 110 kilos.
195 centimeters.
195. I can do the foot conversion because
yeah, it's tall. It's tall. I mean,
I know. What's that about?
I know I'm 6'1", so I'm 182. So anyway, 110. 244.
Oh, there you go.
So he's 110 kilos, 43.5-inch vertical jump. And these are all records, by the way, apparently, since way back since 2003 when the NFL started actually tracking the records. An 11'2" broad jump, and he ran the 40 in 4.46.
That's
for a linebacker at 110 kilos. This guy, Brad, home wrecker.
Yeah. That's the insane part. I think is the NFL loves speed. They fall in love with it, and that's the difference. Is the speed in college you can outrun guys. In the NFL you can't. And no. This is why he is a freak of freaks. For be able to be that big and run that fast. That's next level even by NFL standards. So it'll be fascinating to see where this guy goes and how they just project him, how easily he's going to fit in. I just hope intellectually he's got it all together, and because that's going to be the ultimate factor.
Now, for anyone for reference, wide receivers generally run around 4.2s. So 4.26 was the quickest.
You can still be a wide receiver and run 4.4. No,
but I'm saying like as in the quickest ones.
Oh,
the quickest ones. Yeah, so the quickest ones at the combine this year, 4.26, 4.28.
Yeah, but that's blazing elite speed.
Well, keep that in mind because QB, and it's a very weak QB class. Now, of course, everyone's talking about Mendoza. He'll go number 1 overall to the Raiders. Everybody and his dog and his cat knows it. Everyone does. But the rest of the QB class is pretty weak, and there's been some talk where guys may not even take flyers on, like GMs may not even take flyers on QBs this year because they don't trust the QB class. But now comes QB Taylon Green. I forgot to look up where he was actually from because I think he's only... Where was Taylon Green from?
Iowa State? No.
Arkansas.
Oh, Arkansas.
So he's at the Arkansas Razorbacks. Massive school, obviously. He is 6'5", 227 for a QB. That's pretty, he's tall. 95-ish kilos. 43.5-inch vertical, same as Sonny Styles. 11'2" broad jump, same as Sonny Styles. 4.36 40-yard dash for a quarterback.
Yeah. That's a case of he'll find a place on the NFL squad. If he's especially if he's willing to be like Taysom Hill. If he's happy just being this utilitarian guy, then he'll definitely be a package player. I just hope he gets to a place where they can be creative and utilize him. And you're seeing that more and more. The NFL teams are adapting to the players, not making the players adapt to the system. So he'll be fun and exciting.
Unfortunately for him, the first comp that all of the big NFL pundits gave him was Anthony Richardson.
He's faster than Richardson.
He is faster than Richardson, but apparently his arm talent is about the same.
Yeah,
he sprays it.
I was just about to say that. Like that, they can be all measurables, but if you're lining up for a QB, you better be able to throw the ball. If you can't throw the ball, then you're not going to make it.
But you know what? Anthony Richardson would probably still have a decent chance of making it if he didn't tap out and he had a good attitude. So hopefully this guy will learn from that and have a better attitude and be more willing to do whatever it takes and not just say, "Oh, I'm tired." And I say that literally and figuratively.
Yeah, yeah. The best thing for him, I reckon, Brad, would be not go first round. To go in like 4th, 5th round, because you could have that kind of ability and this kind of speed, this kind of natural physical structure and speed and skill is the word I was searching for. And then I guess when the guys go later, 4th, 5th rounds, they're generally humble about that fact that they've gotten picked up by somebody. So there's humility in that. All except one Browns quarterback last year who decided he wasn't humble.
Yeah, I haven't seen any water overhead, mind you.
I told you when I was going to do it. Is it still sunny outside? Is it still 27 degrees and muggy as shit at 9 o'clock at night at my house? Yes. I told you I would do it in winter when it's cold.
Don't be dissing a Pro Bowl quarterback like that, Ian.
Yes, that's right.
Pro Bowl. The funny part is he beat out Anthony Richardson to be Pro Bowl. Oh, no, sorry. Anthony Richardson couldn't be there, so he was Pro Bowl.
You got to beat out someone to get there.
Yeah. Zach Wilson. A little. I don't know whether you boys are up too much on what's happening at the draft yet. Of course, we will get to our Draftapalooza, Draft Spectacular episode in about a month anyway. Interesting thing coming out at the moment where could we see more of the best player available in the first round than ever before. And the reason I say that and a little bit of what I've been hearing this past week is it's a really wide receiver deep draft. So there's a lot of them. They're all generally around the same level. So there's no massive standouts. Edge rushers about the same. Really good ones around, but they're not totally elite. But then we've got guys, probably the best 4 players in the draft. Running back Jeremiah Love, who had some insane numbers, by the way. This guy looked ridiculous. Linebacker Sonny Styles, who I just talked about. Safety Caleb Downs. Guard Awone. I won't try and say his first name. I was trying to practice earlier, and it's terrible. They're possibly the best 4 guys in the draft. And when I sort of specifically have a look from about pick 4 down, Titans, Giants, Browns, these are all wide receiver needy teams. But do you think it could be a case of just when you get one of these guys who are clearly generational talents on the board, do you just go out and grab them, even though you may not necessarily need linebacker depth, or you may not need another running back?
I think so, and it'll be the smarter head coaches, so your Harbaughs that'll go out and get what they need. They can pick up a wide receiver if it's a wide receiver deep draft, they can pick up something in the 3rd or 4th round that can do the job that they need them to do. So I look at that list that you compiled there, Ian, and the ones that stand out are probably the Giants that'll do it, and maybe the Titans as well. I think they might go best player available as well, rather than wide receiver.
And for a lot of these teams as well, like towards the sort of top end that do need some defensive help, you mentioned about the good edge rushers. There are a lot in sort of the first couple rounds. Even later in the first round, you probably be able to grab one in the second. So it could be a case of taking a best player available. I mean, we'll talk about them, when we get to our AFC West. But for the Chiefs, they need some help defensively because they've got a few guys that might be on the move or they might have to move off because of cap hell. But then it's they're at pick 9. Do they give Mahomes a run game sort of thing? So I agree. 2 other players I'd add to that list of those top 4 players. Bain, who'll go pretty high from Miami. And also Angel Reese, who was at Ohio State. I think he was a linebacker. So definitely a defensive heavy draft towards the top end. So if you're in need of defense, you'll be able to get good guys in the first sort of 3 rounds. So definitely could be a case of sort of best available.
Yeah, I think it depends on the player situation in terms of if you're one of these teams like the Raiders who have so many holes, they're Swiss cheese basically. So you're fine taking best player available because you probably have a need there. If you're one of these teams, it's pretty much got it together, but you really feel like, okay, we do need a tight end, then you're willing to stretch a little bit more for that position specific. But that used to be the old school model. We need a tight end, let's go get a tight end. We need a guard, let's go get a guard. But now I think teams are, like you guys have said, so much more creative with putting teams in, and we're realizing how important depth is as well. So you're seeing teams like, the Eagles, the Niners invest so much in these big bodies in the trenches that it's okay to be really deep, because you might be deep one year, but the next you're not.
Yeah, and I think if Caleb Downs doesn't get top 5 selected, whoever gets him after that is getting an absolute steal. From what I've read and seen and all that, he's probably the best player in the draft.
Yeah, 100%.
Nick, I need you to do a little bit of research for me in the next couple of weeks. I need to know who the Vikings can pick up at O-line. Who's the best O-lineman out there? Because Vikings, we talked about it last week, clearly really, really shallow on O-line. And I don't know, I've been trying to look at these guys, but I've been mesmerised by one guy from Iowa Hawkeyes, O-lineman by the name of Jennings Ducker. Jennings Ducker. Brad, I know you won't have seen this. Isaac, did you say you found the video?
Nick has got one. Yep.
Nick does. Nick, do you want to share this with Brad? This is Iowa Hawkeyes O-lineman Jennings Ducker.
Oh, already I love his mane. Look at that flow.
Look at it, Brad.
Oh, that's like a fine piece of machinery. Oh my gosh. Look at that. That is in slow motion, no less. It's the fact that he's got
the mustache.
The red hair. Oh, Nick and I just got excited. Look at that. And, Iowa's known for its linemen. That is so impressive. That is like a golden wave.
That was a 5.18 40-yard you saw there, Brad, from Jennings.
5.18. Wow.
5.18 of pure perfection.
That's a 5.1 if he cuts the mullet.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's probably a little slow, but for NFL standards, but it's still.
Oh, and the linemen don't often have to run a 40-yard though.
No, they're for linemen. You're more concerned about the 20.
If we're running 40 yards, it's a problem. Usually, it means there's a pick that's happened, and we're going the guy with the ball.
Yeah.
Or your number's been called because you're with Dan Campbell, and suddenly you're getting a pass, Nick.
That is the most glorious head of a hair.
Isn't it great?
Oh, yes.
I want him to be a Viking purely for that, really, because he fits the mold.
We need to get that guy on the pod.
Yeah.
Whatever we do, we need to get that guy on the pod.
If you're out there, hit us
Jennings, let's go. I reckon he'd be a great dude too. You just know from looking at that hair and looking at that man's face that guy just smashes tins. It just be can
100%.
after can.
I'm glad you went with tins.
100%.
The birds would be all over him too, I reckon.
100%.
I guarantee you, he probably does the danger can. I don't. Is that?
What is danger can? Okay, this is something American for sure.
Let's go. Hit us with it.
Well, actually, no, I didn't experience until our team, the Gridiron team here in Adelaide. I don't know. I think it may have been before Nick's time, but we had a guy after every win, the team would all of a sudden start going nuts. And they'd be chanting, danger can, danger can. He'd get out a full can of beer and he'd pop it open, take about 2 swigs, and then slam it on his forehead and just completely crush it. T-Rose, Nick, T-Rose.
T-Rose, yeah.
Yeah.
I had someone else in mind, but then I thought, I can't see T-Rose, but no, there you go. You can.
Yeah. So it was this lineman who just...
He would have done it at halftime.
Yeah, right.
I've seen this guy down. I've seen this guy down a 6-pack. My first ever year playing seniors, I've seen this guy down a 6-pack before a game. Come on, and as a D lineman, win the grand final MVP for the day.
Yeah.
Impeccable
Because it's
football
fuel.
player. And still
It's
going.
fuel, Nick. It's
Still
just
going
fuel,
at
Nick.
39. Still
Yeah.
going.
That's why he's still going at 39, Nick.
Yeah. So
It's all that is he needs to numb his body so he can't feel the pain during plays.
you're not wrong if you know T Rose. You're not wrong.
Oh, I know. If you're 39 and still playing gridiron as a lineman,
And
pain.
At a pretty good level too. He plays at a decent level.
His back and his knees would be 100% shot. I guarantee it.
Yep.
Trades, releases, all kinds of stuff happening. I'll run through a bit of a list that happened over the last couple of days because there have actually been a few bits and pieces come out. The Commanders released Marshawn Lattimore. He gave up a heap to the Saints. Quite a few draft picks to get him last season, and he'd been injured. He's still injured, apparently recovering from an ACL. They moved on from him. The big trade this week, the Lions traded David Montgomery and a 7th to the Texans for Juice Scruggs and a 4th. The Lions split up. Sonic and Knuckles, done and dusted. They've also absolutely launched Jahmyr Gibbs into the fantasy football 101 category. But David Montgomery, it signals a couple of things. One, Montgomery finally gets to be that lead back and just absolutely wreck defenses on his own and show what he can do and possibly get a hell of a bag from the Texans. But it also says something about the Texans and Joe Mixon.
Oh yeah, he's done. He's done.
Yeah,
I think they've gotten all the juice from that squeeze as they can from Joe Mixon. I'm surprised he's still functioning with all the injuries that he's had. I actually don't mind this trade because I think it works for both teams. The Texans needed a running back, and the Lions for sure needed a center. We talked about that last week. Losing Ragnow was a huge hole for them. He and the center position is so critical in that offense in particular. And the fact that they're getting the Scruggs rather, and a 4th round draft pick, it would not surprise me. They're not going to stand pat, I don't think. At Gibbs, I think they'll either draft in the 4th a running back, or I would not be surprised if they make a run at one of these free agents. I would love to see Algiers on the Lions. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'd love to see him play.
Yeah, I'm interested to see which way the Lions go here because they've always been that two-headed monster in the backfield with Gibbs and Montgomery, and there's another release they're talking about now, which I wouldn't mind having a look at going to Detroit, which will be interesting as well.
Well, I was going to jump to that actually. The Vikings released both defensive tackle Javon Hargrave and running back Aaron Jones. They're going to officially release them on the first day of the new league year. Aaron Jones pairing with Jahmyr Gibbs at the Lions. That could be interesting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that was the one I was thinking of there, which would be very interesting. I don't know if he's more of a power back like Montgomery was. Montgomery just charged it forward and Gibbs was more speed on the outside. But yeah, it'd be a really interesting one to go there. And Jordan Mason's stocks just went up big time. As soon as I seen that Aaron Jones was getting released, I went onto the Sleeper app and looked for some Jordan Mason, and I couldn't find any. So unfortunately, but anyway, we play on.
The Vikings get a fair bit of cap back from the release of Hargrave specifically. The Aaron Jones one will get them back about $7 million. The Vikings obviously started out at $42 million in the hole cap-wise, so they really need to clear a lot because there are a lot of guards and centers, experienced guys coming up in free agency right now and getting released. Another couple, the Texans also traded for offensive tackle Titus Howard. They traded him to the Browns for a fifth. The Browns immediately gave Howard a new 3-year, $63 million deal. So Howard gets a bag from the Browns. Bit of help there. The Chiefs cut Juwan Taylor. He's a cap hit cut, unfortunately. So, yeah, other guys there, like I said. And then the Bengals signed guard Dalton Risner to a 1-year deal. Big deal, you say. Well, the Bengals now go into 2026 with their front five from 2025 fully intact. Same front five. That has never happened with Joe Burrow at QB. They've never taken the same five year on year on.
That's saying something. That's got to change. That has to change. So that is.
They do need to add to that.
What's that? Say it again.
They do need to add to that though.
Yes, yeah. You're right. Yeah, you don't want to run that group back.
No way.
No.
Well, Risner was a late addition in 2025 to the Bengals. He ended up being a great fit for them, exactly what they needed. So they're going to run him back for another year. He's the type of guy that gets deals year on year anyway. I think he'll always find a home. I wanted to talk a little bit about the free agent QBs and some QB needy teams. There's a bit of an interesting discussion going around at the moment about the free agency QB market. We are poised to go into 2026. So a couple of years ago, Russell Wilson ended up getting cut by the Broncos, and they paid his entire wage, and he immediately jumped into a job on the absolute league minimum, with the Broncos paying his former employer paying his wage. We all saw that, and everyone was going, "Wow, this is a huge thing. This has never happened before," and everything that went on to that. Well, fast forward 2 years, we're poised to go into 2026 with up to 5 veteran QBs who could be getting the league minimum and having their previous employer pay their wage. Tua Tagovailoa has obviously been very heavily rumoured that the Dolphins are going to move on from him. Same has Kyler Murray lately. It seems like the writing might be on the wall for Geno Smith. We've already heard about Kirk Cousins, and of course Justin Fields is probably getting cut. And now, yes, he is the 5th one there. He doesn't get paid as much, but we're talking about QBs there that have been starting level QBs with a lot of starts under their belt and a lot of experience. And it could be very interesting for a few teams, in particular a couple of the big needy QB teams, the Vikings, Dolphins, Jets, the Cardinals. Of course, all those teams are in amongst that mix where they're going to release somebody.
Well, yeah, you're right. Those teams are probably going to release somebody, but who are they going to get? Like, are they just doing change for the sake of change? I mean, if you're Miami, or I guess you could say Murray and prime Geno Smith could be better than Tua, but is it going to be that much of an improvement? And is Tua? I'm just using his as an example. Is he a distraction? That much of a distraction that you want him gone?
Well, Miami's heavily linked to actually Malik Willis.
Okay.
More than any of those buyout candidates there. You keep hearing his name pop up in Miami. I mean, that list that you can file there, and you can probably scrub Daniel Jones off it, I'd say. I would be very, very surprised if he's
Daniel
not
Jones it's only because Daniel Jones is a free agent at the moment. He is the top free agent at the moment. They haven't signed him back yet. So Daniel Jones, they can put a tender out on him. They can't franchise tag him. And a tender just means that they can say, we're going to offer you this much. And if anybody else comes in with a better offer, Jones can accept it if he wants to, or he can sign that tender and move on. So Daniel Jones is, I think, after last season, and yes, it was only 8 starts, but I think he can once again pick wherever he wants to go. So there is that. Yes, it's most likely he'll probably stay with the Colts. The Colts are weird, and they've done weird things in the past, so you don't know what they'll do.
Yeah. And more interestingly enough is, like, the Vikings are ready to compete. So who are they going to get to be QB? Like, is it any of those 5 there
Kirk
that could be on the minimum wage? I said Kirk last week. That probably
a couple of the
match
guys
made in
there
heaven.
that have been heavily rumoured have actually been Kyler Murray and Geno Smith. Because they're guys that have got they're veterans with lots of start experience. They have ability. Geno's probably the better of the two because he's a lot more mature. But they're guys that are likely to probably take the league minimum and come in for that year to prove themselves as well as helping out. And you think salary cap's at over $300 million now, and you pick up a quarterback for the veteran minimum, which is like $1.3 million, and you have a veteran quarterback on $1.3 million in a $300 million salary cap year, especially when you're the Vikings, when you've already got to cut a heap of guys to get over that cap or restructure. I wish they'd just restructured Justin Jefferson's by now. It'd solve a lot of problems. But, yeah. I don't know. I don't hate the idea of a Kyler Murray with the Vikings. You think you come in there with an offense that is very good and you get to prove yourself. And for the Vikings, you pay a guy $1.3 million. If 6 starts into the season, it's all going to shit and he's really not anything, well, then you can still chuck JJ McCarthy back in. And, yeah, you're in the same place, essentially.
If I was Minnesota, I don't know how you would feel about it, Ian, but I'd rather be looking at, just purely because of behavioural and you might be able to get some upside given his previous track, I'd rather be looking at Justin Fields and Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray, obviously, he's had the issues with, is he studying film, he's playing Call of Duty, whatever. Justin Fields has been, we think of the Bears now, what they are offensively, but the Bears before, they got Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson. Then he went to Pittsburgh under Arthur Smith and he was at the Jets. This is a guy coming out of college that was pretty highly touted. And you get him with Kevin O'Connell, clearly the best receiving group he will have, clearly the best run game he'll have. For $1 million, I think I'd rather that than probably Kyler Murray. At least Kyler Murray previously, he's had Trey McBride. He had Cliff Kingsbury, who was a pretty decent play caller. Geno Smith had his issues. Maybe the other guy you can make a case for if you get him for pretty cheap is maybe Tua. I wouldn't mind taking a fly on Justin Fields, bit of QB competition, and see how it goes from there.
I was to say, I would, if I'm thinking of that locker room though, dynamics, I want somebody there who's gonna help JJ, and that's why I keep coming back to Kirk, just because no matter what, I mean that guy was dogged in Atlanta. Let's face it, he did not turn into a sourpuss, a negative Nancy. He still towed the company line, and that's the kind of dude you want in the locker room. So I'd go back to Kirk, go back to the well one more time, and see if it works personally.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Brad. Like I don't think a scrambler QB like Kyler and Tua, Justin Fields, they scramble, but a Kevin O'Connell offense is more of a pocket passer and getting protection and getting Justin Jefferson open, and they're not running around the backfield trying to save their lives. They're standing in the pocket and they're delivering passes on time and accurate, and I think that's what Kirk does better than anyone on that list.
I think the Vikings specifically, number one, you have to not worry about McCarthy's feelings. You have to go, you're a big boy now, you're in an adult league. Like, we have to bring someone in to compete. If someone beats you out for the job, that's your problem. You've got to figure out how to get over it. But number two, I think you have to look at Justin Jefferson and do the best possible thing for him.
Yes.
Because I think he was an absolute dog last year. Like, he only ended up with 2 touchdowns and yet 2 touchdowns all season.
Wow.
This is the one of the best wide receiver in the league. And he ended up with 2 touchdowns. And I think week after week he said, no, I believe in Kev. I believe in my coach. I trust JJ McCarthy. Week after week after week, he towed the line. He towed the company line. And he's still doing it now. But I think you get 4 games in and he's still not getting targets and he's still not getting touchdowns and it's all going to shit because your quarterback play hasn't progressed. then I think it's going to be loud coming from that guy.
It's not going to be quite AJ Brown, but it'll be a distraction.
Yeah, and it will be.
Yeah.
And I think I do agree with you. You want someone that is going to do the best there, that is going to come in with the best of intentions. It's going to actually push. I like all these options better than that nonsense floating around with Aaron Rodgers, because why would you sign Aaron Rodgers when you could have any one of these 5 guys for $1 million? Like, Aaron Rodgers is, and I don't think if Aaron Rodgers comes back, it's only going to be with the Steelers. The way he's talking about with McCarthy, that's just the way it's going to be. So, but he's gonna ask for more money regardless. It won't be $1 million. So there's definitely some very interesting quarterback talk out there at the moment, and it'll be very interesting. The free agency starts in about a week or so. Probably expect that there'll be a few trades beforehand, but I expect this free agency period to probably kick off with a pretty big bang and to go pretty quickly from the minute it opens. I think there'll be some teams grabbing some guys very quickly and trying to secure them before other places do.
What can I ask you guys? What, I don't know if you've heard about the rumors about AJ Brown getting traded. Do you guys think he will, just because he was such a malcontent last year?
Yeah, I think it's time for Devonta Smith to be wide receiver 1. He's been in the league long enough now. He's going to be the man. I think they'll move on. They need to. I think he causes too much distraction.
The problem for the Eagles is that who's going to fork out what you want to get him? Because if you're Howie Roseman, it's like, well, for a player of AJ Brown's quality, you probably want, at least the second round pick, maybe a first. But if you're going to get all the baggage that comes with it, who's going to fork that out? Unless he goes to like a really bad team. But is the team going to take him on knowing that he wants, he wants to win, but obviously wants the targets and everything. So, maybe if he goes to a team that's just going to feed him, they just say, look, we're going to give you 10 targets a game. Who cares if it's on the Browns? But if that's what he wants, then maybe they'll take the flyer on him.
I guarantee you, if he went to Buffalo, the dude would be getting 15 targets a game.
Yeah. But the Buffalo's actually one of the ones that's been thrown around that he could go to. It's hard with AJ Brown. Like I think he offers the skill set. He offers the veteran presence. He offers all those things. But if things don't go his way, he also offers the distraction and all the nonsense that comes with that as well. So the reading, I'm going to read a book on the sideline kind of nonsense.
Yeah.
So it is very hard because I think he can still play. I think he can still absolutely produce for the right team. So a couple of ones that are heavily thrown around in hypothetical trade offers that I just found: Browns, Bills, Ravens, and Patriots. I think the Bills is obviously
the Ravens.
The Bills would be the strongest one that I would say of those 4, but also just another very strong one because they've got a very late first round pick, and often what are you going to take a flyer on someone, or you can trade it to the Eagles, a first rounder to the Eagles for AJ Brown, which I think that they would accept in a heartbeat. I think it's pick 26. So yeah, when you accept that in a heartbeat for AJ Brown if you're the Eagles.
Oh yeah, first rounder, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's a late first, so it's like all the really good guys are gone. You're really taking a punt unless you super like someone and is still on the board.
I just think the distraction that he would bring. But if I'm Buffalo, I'm going after him. I'm going after Mike Evans, Rashid Shaheed, Romeo Dobbs, any of those guys. I'm going after.
Yeah, so I don't know, Brad. So good question. I think he's there. Brad, let's go to Brad's doc, Brad's spreadsheet, Brad's world right now. Everyone out there listening or watching, you barely get the joke because when Brad sent us this spreadsheet, every one of us opened this thing and went, "Holy shit! What the hell is this thing?" I think Nick's comment was, "This is Rain Man level." This is insane. NFLPA does a player survey every single year on all kinds of different things. The players can give them a bit of a grading on, give their own team a bit of a grading on what it was like. Well, the team that they were just on, rather. It doesn't even have to be their own team. So the team that they were just on, they give them a grading. I think it's all points based. I'm not sure whether it's A, B, C, D's. That's the way they do it. But they give it grading.
They just do letter grades, but then I assign a numerical value.
Yeah. So they do this. This year, it was blocked by the NFL, and the owners told the NFLPA, we don't want you putting this out anymore. They took them to court over it, all that kind of sort of things, because Giants owners, the Maras decided that they didn't like being graded with a D or an F because they're bad ownership, because they are. But they didn't want people knowing that outright. Now, all this really did was put more of a focus on the fact that these player grades, which the PA said they were still going to do, they just weren't going to release them. But of course, they were obviously going to find their way out there into the world of the internet. And all it did was put more of a spotlight on it. And now you get guys like Brad who go, holy shit, look at all this data, and I can put it together and I can make an awesome doc. So Brad has done that, and we've got some awesome stuff that came out of it, Brad.
Yeah, we did. We really, really did. And just for our listeners, we're going to try and figure out a way to release that to you guys so that, or at least put it up on the socials, and so you can look at some really cool stuff. Basically, and what I wanted to do was also look at last year's data, 25, and cross-reference it with 26 so that you could sort it and see year over year, okay, what teams are actually investing in their teams, in the organizations, and making improvements. So I think there's 11 different categories that the teams are ranked on. And so it's really fascinating to me if you look at it, just which teams are making improvements and which teams have kind of regressed as well. So, and what's I think so cool is it's ranked by the players. So you can't get any more of an authentic rating than that. It's not subjective in the sense of it's a reporters or anything, with an axe to grind. It's the real players' experiences. So, and it's a good sample size. So, it's legitimate data. But yes, you're right. There's tons of things to look at in there. So we'll try and figure out a way to improve it. Not surprisingly, the Jets had the biggest improvement from 25 to 26. But that's just because purely they got graded as an F on so many things in 25. That they now improved that. Like a full letter grade, I believe, was their average ranking improved by. So, it's a really, really cool piece of data.
Brad, the best teams. Who were the best
overall?
Yeah, the best overall.
Well, again, it just kind of depends on how you're looking at it. The Dolphins come up, according to the stats, the Dolphins come up good. Let me just, before I fully dive into that, one of the things that I found interesting was that strength coaches had the highest overall grade in the NFL. So the average grade in the NFL for strength coaches was an A-, which was very high. Interestingly enough, the lowest grade across the NFL was always had to do with the home field playing experience. So so the Dolphins and the Commanders scored at the top with their strength coaches, and at the bottom, home field was surprisingly the Ravens and the Broncos and the Eagles. They had the lowest scores for their home field. They only had a C average. So, and then coaches were ranked very high as well. So the average coach, the average league was a B+, and the highest, no surprise here, the highest ranked, I believe, team for coaches was the Los Angeles Rams. So I think that kind of goes to show that there's a blueprint there. But also the Commanders ranked really high for their coaches as well, which I found a little. So Dan Quinn is obviously loved by his staff.
It just does seem to me like all the worst categories all seem to be around family's experience or the training room or travel. Travel.
Yeah.
A lot of players complain about travel from certain teams.
Yep.
Yeah.
But you saw the Vikings were right up there. They were number 2 behind the Dolphins in terms of the overall average team rank. So, and of course, we've created the spreadsheet so that if you want to look at who's the highest in coaching, who's the highest in the player experience facilities, you can do that. So it's fascinating data out there.
So Dolphins, Vikings, Falcons, Raiders are all the only teams that have got an A grade out of all those. Bottom of the tree is the C's. There's one C minus, which is the Cardinals, but the other C's are Patriots, Browns, Jets, Steelers, Bucks, technically with C pluses. So pretty expected from most teams when you talk about the Jets, the Browns, the Cardinals, in terms of being some of the worst teams in the NFL and they get the worst grades from their players. The New England Patriots stood out to me at the bottom of all that. They have got C, B, and D grades across all of the main categories, yet they were the Super Bowl runner-up. Like, how are you going that far through a season and it seems like your players hate being around your facility or your weight room? Their best category is their head coach, and even then, the coaching was only rated a B+.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So it kind of boggles your mind, and you wonder. I don't want to get too deep into the weeds, but you wonder. I would love to know those players that were there, from last year to this year, how their grades changed. Because obviously you're getting a new crop of people in, so they have brand new experiences. So I'd love to know the changeover with all that. Interestingly, I thought the second most improved team from 25 to 26 was the Jacksonville Jaguars. So they made a huge 3-letter grade jump in the family's experience. So I don't know what they did, but obviously the players feel like their families are being taken care of, and they made a full letter grade jump in food. And if you don't think food's important to football players, think again, because if we're, and that's why the Bengals ranked as one of the worst, because apparently their spread was just cheap as, like stuff that you'd get in a high school, let alone a professional organization. So all those little things, they make a difference. And we even put in kind of I did like a weighted average for free agents and what would make it potentially attractive to free agents. So that's going to be on the spreadsheet as well if people want to take a look at that.
Nick, anything you noticed?
Yeah, there's a few. Just another thing I noticed, Brad. I've noticed the food categories. The teams with the good offensive lines have the higher grades, just partly, like the Broncos, the Seahawks, everything like that.
That's the kind of stuff. That's the kind of correlation I want from Brad's data to real life. All right, that's the beauty of it.
The one thing I did notice, going back to home field, this category for the home field. So, pretty common theme. In it. So the teams that had D- or worse grades for their home field: Buffalo, Carolina, Cincinnati, the Giants, the Jets, the Steelers, the Seahawks, the Bucks, the Titans. So the common theme is obviously they're all outdoor stadiums. So, and I know there's new stadiums being built that are obviously indoors and all that, but do you think it's more so because, like, and a lot of these teams, like, there's a bunch of them that play in sort of shitty weather city, so obviously that plays into it as well, but makes me think maybe this is an idea for those sort of teams that aren't sort of constructing at the moment to maybe be looking into maybe indoor stadiums when they go through with redoing their stadiums. The two other things I did notice just having a look at the head coaching grades.
Mm-hmm.
Chargers, interesting enough, had one of the worst grades at head coach at C+.
Yeah,
which stood out to me.
Yeah, I agree. That
very strange.
I found that very interesting.
Very strange.
And you think, I mean, Harbaugh has worn out his welcome, so to speak, everywhere he's gone. So obviously, I think he's pretty demanding, and he enacts a lot of change. But it seems to be like players get tired of it after a little while. So it seems pretty early though for them to be getting tired of it. So
He's
one last thing I did mention though.
He's obviously a hard ass, Brad. Yeah. I mean, that's all it is. And then some people respond to people in authority situations that are hard asses, and others don't.
The one last thing I did notice, just looking at obviously being a Niners fan, an A grade for strength coaches. I don't know how the fuck that's possible. Most of the team going down.
Yeah.
What's the facilities ones for the 49ers with that power station next door?
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
Well, the training room's got a C minus, so that must be the closest to the substation, I reckon. That must be it.
Could be.
Yeah. The only other thing I just want, I know I mentioned them earlier, but the Bengals their family rating in 25 was F minus, 26 F minus. Food went from an F to an F minus. Nutrition went from a C to an F. So the Bengals, I'm sorry, man, but you got to be doing something better.
Wow.
It's bad. And interestingly, out of that, the worst team from year over year from 25 to 26 was actually the Packers. So they dropped almost on average a half a letter grade. So they obviously need to make some adjustments as well. They got bumped down like on travel, and their head coach, so he went from an A minus to a B minus. So, which was a really significant drop as well. I think the largest head coach decrease was the Raiders. So Pete Carroll was obviously not loved, and he's gone now. And the biggest bump in a head coach was the Buffalo Bills, believe it or not. So that one really surprised me. So we're talking about Mike McDonald, who just got fired. He went from, this just blows me away, from an F minus to a B minus. How is that even possible?
You've done it again, Brad.
So
Sean McDermott, not Mike McDonald.
Yeah. Yeah, that too. So,
we're going to figure out how to put all this data out there. I might figure out how I can even share Brad's spreadsheet somehow for all the stats nerds out there who would love to just trawl through these things. I'm going to try and figure out how we can put some stuff out on socials, as Brad said. I don't see anyone else doing this depth yet, so it'll be quite interesting if we are the first ones to do this kind of depth. And maybe if some people start to take notice about the fact that we are just uber nerds, so Isaac won't like getting sort of lumped into that category.
I don't think we could go any deeper. I do not have the capacity.
Nerds rule the world, man. Nerds rule the world.
So I will I'll end it on this. The head coach rankings for our particular teams. Isaac, you get an A+ for the big man. The Minnesota Vikings, Kevin O'Connell gets an A. Brad, Shoddy got an A-. Look out.
Yeah, no, I would have given him a B+, but yeah.
Same grade as Kyle Shanahan.
Oh, well, I know who I'd rather have between those two personally.
So there we go. We're all in the A's though. Everyone loves our head coaches. Not necessarily anything else to do with our facilities and things, but
yeah.
Well, I didn't really look into what your ownership grade was, Brad, but that's okay.
Oh, let's not talk about that.
All right. Thanks for joining us for what ended up being a pretty in-depth combine news and more sort of roundup. We will be back later in the week with the AFC West breakdown. It's AFC West time, so we're going to be talking about 4 interesting teams. One of them has the number 1 overall pick. So, as always, at Gday Gridiron on all the socials and YouTube. You'll find us everywhere. Linktree/Aussie Gridiron Network for all the links to everything else to do with the Aussie Gridiron Network. And we will see you later.